Hey everyone, and welcome back to another altered gameplay video. So, I was looking at decks to build this week, and anything new I was having a bit of trouble with. Waiting for the marketplace to come out so we can grab all of the rares and stuff we need for the factions we haven't showcased yet. But I remembered we had a Bravos list that we could potentially show off. Far from complete, but we're going to give it a go. So this, you've seen from the video, it's 9 little pigs. You can see the 3 uniques across here. All of them are the 3 little pigs, so they're going to be the top end of our deck. Each of them does the exact same thing. Basically, whenever a character joins our expeditions, we get some form of boost if we control a landmark. So, this one gets 2 boosts. These other 2 give 2 characters 1 boost as a way to trigger our hero, Basira and Kaizaimon. This is a very aggro tempo list. We'll go through it quickly, but to enable the landmark effect for our piggies, we've got our full complement of Keelan Cylinders and Bravos Bastions. Hopefully people aren't so heads up that they remove those proactively until we can get another one out. But those are our ways to affect boosts from the permanent zone. The rest of the deck is largely dedicated to low to the ground creatures and ramp. So for the ramp we've got our 3 rare tiny djinns, 2 mighty djinns and 2 copies of mana channeling. We'll see if we've overcompensated on that effect, and were we to remove some, we'll probably get rid of the mana channelings for some other effect as well. Everything else is pretty straightforward. So we've got 8 forms of draw in this deck, if I am correct. 3 Bastions all resupply, the 3 Sarangas draw when they're played from reserve, and the physical trainings as well. So we'll look at that and see if we're struggling for cards. Everything else is pretty straightforward. Gives boosts, remove fleeting, try and recoup cards that way as well. And the only other really interesting thing in the deck is the Sakurabru Energy Bars combo. If you are familiar with Altered on BGA at all, I'm sure you've encountered this at some point, but I'll go through it quickly anyway. So Sakurabru is a 7-drop from hand, but it pushes one of your opponent's expeditions backwards. When that is combined with an Eat Me Energy Bars, the Sakurabru will be gigantic, and as such will face both expeditions, so it actually pushes them back too. If you can affect that in a single turn, it requires 10 mana. However, it means your opponent can't win for that turn as well. We'll see if that comes into effect in the games. We've got ways to ramp to it, and ways to reduce that cost a little bit. Having the energy bars out from the previous turn obviously means you can do it from 7 and up, but you are likely to lose both, so it mostly buys time for you to get other things out. Really excited about that one. I've had a couple of games blown out as a result of that, so I'm optimistic. Other things, only 2 copies of Helping Hand. I do only own 2, like I said, waiting for the marketplace to pick up a few things. So we'll see how it goes. I don't have too high hopes for this one. Sort of just threw it together as a little old aggro list. However, it does eschew some forms of interaction. Many forms of interaction, in fact. So there is, as you can tell, no removal in the deck, and no sabotage. So we took out the copies of Tinkerbell, I believe, is in red, as well as Haven Bouncer. So basically, if our opponents figure that out, they're going to know that they can do whatever they want, but we're going to hope that that doesn't happen. So even though we know we don't have it in there, they still have to play around it a little bit. So we'll try and push our advantage there. This deck really wants to get ahead and stay ahead, like I said. All gas, no brakes. So we'll see how it goes. Alright, see you in game 1. I'm excited. Alrighty everyone, welcome back for another video. Basira and Kaizaimon is the go. We've got a Kojo and Buddha backdrop there. Not sure what's going on with that. But let's select our deck and hope everything works. Alright. Well, maybe it was a bit of foreshadowing. We in fact are playing against a Kojo and Buddha, which is pretty fun. Alrighty, what have we got going on here? Got a tiny Jin, mighty Jin, physical training. We are playing second as well, so does that impact us at all? Alright, I think we'll get rid of the mighty Jin. We'll play the tiny Jin turn 1. I do like the idea of keeping the mana channeling just in case, but I feel like we'll draft a little bit here. Keep all of our rares. Our opponent gets a Buddha token to start off with. So this may be a double loss off the start. We'll see what we can do from there. Arcolano Milk, so something will gain a boost, lose, gain fleeting as well, so we might see a tiny Jin here. Have to remember to keep activating our Keylon cylinder. I'm thinking we just pass here and keep the tiny Jin in its cheap state. Our opponent's gone down 1 card to 2, so we might have to try and leverage that, and we can play the Jin and physical training next turn. Make at least 1 back depending on what else we draw. Okay, got 2 1-drops here. We could get rid of the Blade Dancer, play the Mighty Jin for an extra boost on one side. Our other option would be to Tiny Jin and physical training as well. But I'd like to save that for the Blade Dancer if I can figure out a way to play that. So I think we'll get rid of the Blade Dancer here. We'll activate our Keylon cylinder, play our Tiny Jin, see what they want to do. If they choose to remove it, we're kind of just out of luck. We do have a choice here. We're going to leave them with 3 mana to do whatever they wish with. However, they've already indicated they'd like to play into the Arcolano Milk, so maybe it's another Tiny Jin coming out. I think we'll just pass, hold on to the physical training, hope that that comes in handy later on. Indeed, it is another Tiny Jin. They've ramped twice. Alright, we would have been able to protect against this advance if we'd played the physical training, but we'll see what we can get done here. We're behind on mana, we're behind on expeditions. We'll see how we go. We haven't got any pigs yet. That's really what I'm waiting for. Alright. It is the first appearance of one of our three little pigs. Bit early, but that's okay. I think we'll get rid of the mighty Jin here. Alrighty, time to play a piggy. We're going to contest on this side. We've evened it up here. We've not played our Keylon cylinder just yet because we do get a chance. Doesn't matter whatever they boost. So we'll select both of our creatures for our three little pigs boost. They'll both get a boost. Unfortunately, this one will not progress us forward. I forgot to use the Keylon cylinder. A little embarrassing after talking about it in the first turn of the game. But that's okay. We've got counters for days. Had we used one, we'd have got a double advance here and been pretty okay. Just being one behind when our opponent is so far dealing with less cards. I still have high hopes for this physical training. It's one of the very few draw spells in our deck. Let's see what our opponent chose to do. So we've got a way to play 3 cards this turn. We'll play the piggy first on the hero side to take advantage of its blue effect there. We'll activate our Keylon cylinder this turn. Play the Bravos Ballet Dancer. It'll get a boost. It'll get another boost from the Keylon cylinder. Our piggy will boost it further. We have a lot of boost effects to trigger, but only one of them actually will do anything. And if they want to play the Ozma, which they do. Let's see, do they have a 1-drop? Truly unfortunate. They are running low on cards though. We've actually drawn ahead on mana. Mana channeling, probably not the done thing here. So what we'll do, we probably didn't need to get rid of it, but it is good to put extra mana in where we can. play the Bravos Blade Dancer for 3. We'll give it the boost, get rid of the error messages. So they'll have to play something in order to contest us over here. I guess we'll find out what the last card in their hand is. We'll use our Keylon Cylinder, play a tiny Djinn, we'll get to ramp. That is the perfect expedition for us to be able to do something there. And finally, our physical training gets to do something. And we'll pass turn. We'll get to double advance, even everything up. Alrighty, we'll look at something. Hope to play something good here. Ooh, a Sakurabaru. Alright. We are going to get rid of the Bravos Vanguard. That came together quite nicely, I will have to say. We'll play an Eat Me Energy Bars. Perhaps we would have been better off playing it on the other side actually, to avoid the green power of our Bravos Vanguard. We'll use our final Keylon Cylinder counter here. We'll give a boost to Sakurabaru. So they can advance on that side if they play the Bravos Vanguard. They'll go up to 755. Interesting choice there. Now, what does sending the Eat Me Energy Bars back to hand do? Do we just do it to him again? Oh my god. Oh, that's really funny. Haven, Bravos Bastion. Alright, so we've got two options here. We could play the Sakurabaru and the physical training. We would have to fade removal as the last card in their hand, and that would win us the game. And we'd be able to play both our Eat Me Energy Bars, Sakurabaru, and the physical training. Alright. All good things start by tapping our Keylon Cylinder, however. I think I'm very scared. I'm very scared about Sabotage and Exhaust, actually. So what I think we'll do is we'll play the Sakurabaru. We'll see if they choose to play whatever's remaining in their hand. They can get up to... Oh. Oh, have they just given up? Two more other boosted characters. They can't actually draw an extra card here. So I think we just play our physical training on the Sakurabru, get it out of range of whatever it is they have. It can get another boost as well. Wow, that ended up quite well, didn't it? And we'll play the energy bars over here as well. So we're gigantic. We actually stop them from moving. Just as a final little bit of insurance. Some would call it disrespect. I prefer to think of it as insurance. Good game. One of our piggies did something very good there. Very happy with him. And the little side package actually came together almost perfectly. Cool. Nice start. On to game 2. Alright, welcome back. Game 2, Basira and Kaizaimon. Still a Kojo and Buddha icon. I don't know how long that's been like that. I'm going to have to go through the old videos and see if it was hanging out where he's not welcome in all of those two. Really weird. Alright, we're up against a Fen and Crowbar. Alright, this is too many tiny Jins, so that's a pretty easy pick. Bravos Vanguard versus Haven Sayringer. And I believe Keelon Cylinder is worse than the Bravos Bastion. Arguably the best card in the deck. Alright, we'll get rid of that. We'll try it out. We've got a couple of options here. So turn 1, we could play the Sayringer. That's probably likely to advance our opponent as well. They'll have something to play that's got a blue or a brown. Power higher than 1. We would likely be gambling. Alright. We'll play the Sayringer anyway. If they play something that's got 2 brown, we can always put the tiny Jin on that side too. As always, we're hoping for a 3-drop from our opponent turn 1, so we've got perfect information for whether we want to play our second card and where we want to play it. But we'll play the waiting game. Fen and Crowbar with all of their free resupply are likely to beat us on card advantage, so we're going to have to make the most out of our limited draw and resupply effects. Do they have a 1-drop in hand? We could stop them from advancing on this side. Or we can challenge on both. I don't know if Lyra have access to a 1-drop that's got 2 power in brown, but they might be able to double advance with us. Alright, we go 2 to 1 there. Pretty happy with that, not a bad start. We go down a card, but we can potentially recoup that with the Sayringer, unless they sabotage it. We'll go rid of, sorry, slurring my words here. Oh, a Lyra Festival, interesting spot. Having played the Lyra Festival decks, we do immediately have alarm bells ringing there. Alright, so if they play a Nancy, it'll be a 4-4-4. We know they have their Lyra Cloth Dancer in hand. So I think we'll play our Bravos Bastion here. See what they want to do. Do they want to play it? Presumably they will. So we're thinking about Sabotage in their hand. And now we're thinking about a 1-drop as their remaining card. Do we want to draw a card? Do we want to ramp? That is the question. I think at this point, drawing a card is better. We could have stopped them from moving. Alright, small bleed there. A little disappointing, but that's okay. Given them an expedition for free. Got to keep it a close game, you know what I mean? And we'll draw a piggy. Alright, this is probably too many reds. This may be a rough matchup for us because we don't actually, I think I talked about it in the deck tech, but we don't actually have any way to stop our opponent from enacting a festival win if they can sculpt it. So our job here will be to tempo our opponent out. To that effect, we're just going to be contesting 1 for 1 as much as we can, see if we can get a second one in there as well. Now, I feel like it's unlikely for them to pay the 1 here because they have the option of giving the aloe vera anchored with Kodama anyway, and they can play it. And that's challenging us, I think. Are they challenging us to play the Bravos Vanguard? I think instead what we'll do is we'll play the Eat Me energy bars. If they want to play the Kodama into the hero expedition here, we'll still advance on the other side as well. So this does create an interesting choice for them. Yep, they'll give the aloe vera anchored, as we spoke about. Will we see the Lyra Cloth Dancer here? I can't remember its stat line. Is it 021? Alright, they pass. We double advance. We are threatening a win here. Their aloe vera will be losing anchored this turn. So they have to figure out a way to play 2 more creatures and give them all 3 effects, with none from reserve. Alright. It's a bit late for the mana channeling. They find an Anansi and a Hatter. So they've got anchored, they've got fleeting. Do they have a way to give one of their characters a sleep? Kodama only gains a sleep from hand, so they may have one in hand. And I guess that's the game we play when we submitted the deck. If they have it, I guess they just have it. Okay, we've got 7 mana. What can we play? We can play a 3-drop and a 4-drop. They don't have Lara Festival out on the field. This is a tough choice. Alright, I guess we'll contest on the aloe vera side, force them to play into that a little bit further. We'll pass the turn. I think we're going to keep the Bravos Vanguard in hand, as it is the very small amount of interaction we have with a Lara Festival win. Taking away fleeting from one of their characters may stop them from winning. They are free to sculpt as they wish. So if they've got it next turn, I guess they've just got it. Sorry, big block of silence in there. Not sure what else to say while their opponent's making their decision. It's quite a straightforward plan for them, I guess. Just try and snake a win. Alright, they're going to put the Lara Festival into hand, play something from reserve. Now, are they going to try and reduce the cost and just get their Lara Festival out for next turn? Lara Festival out for next turn? I'm considering playing the piggies, so that if they play the Lyra Cloth Dancer and spin something over to the other side, we still win there. However, I think we can dissuade them from doing that by playing the energy bars on that side. So if they do decide to swap something over, it becomes gigantic, we just win both. 031. You may pay 1, target character switches expeditions. Okay, they win both here, so we should have insured against that. Although they would have been able to switch it anyway, so that's fine. I wish we had a 1-drop in hand. Tiny Gen would have been juicy here. Physical training is probably too expensive. We shall play a piggies. They still can't go for a Lyra Festival win. They still have to play one out. So I'm assuming they're going to try and just play to board. Snowman. If you do, you may discard target permanent. Alright, that's okay. That was a very good card to have in hand, I must say. Very fortuitous for them. Alright, so we have basically one remaining thing to do. Which is play our helping hand. We shall target our piggy. Give the piggy an additional boost. I don't think it matters. They're tapped out. They can give all of our stuff fleeting. Do they choose to do so? Indeed they do. Alright, I would like for you to pass, my friend. How polite of them. Did it as soon as I asked. That's nice. Alright, we'll roll forward. End the game. There you go. The piggies do it once more. Big fan of those guys. Oh, this deck is turning out to be better than I thought it would be. I did not have high hopes. 2-0. Let's see what we can do in game 3. Alrighty, game 3. Let's keep the streak going with our Kojo and Buddha deck. Just kidding, Basira and Kaizaimon. We are playing first, and we are against Traced and Rossum. So 3 different factions. Ooh. Alright, that's too many helping hands. And we've been in this situation before where if we go down to 1 creature, it may become an issue. Do we get rid of the helping hand or the Bravos Vanguard? Either way, we keep the lady on the art around. So, let's math this out. We play the Blade Dancer and Bastion turn 1. Then we play the Blade Dancer helping hand turn 2. Alright, I think we're going to stick with that. We'll start with the Haven, see if we get something to play off the top of our deck. We get a Seringa. It's going to be good next turn. Let me just close that window. Our opponent is deciding what to do. I'm assuming they're choosing between playing a permanent... Oh. Okay, didn't expect a frozen delivery out of them. Okay, that's a bit rough. We'll play the Blade Dancer, we'll give it an extra boost. Just to ensure against the Ada. So they can't stop us from advancing with her this turn. Put the Haven. Yeah, nothing lost there. They'll get their scrap counter. We'll pass the turn. We'll trade here. Okay. Now, we've drawn the mana channelings this video at times when we've also had other forms of ramp in hand. I think we've always had access to either a Tiny or a Mighty Djinn. And so we've always had the opportunity as it were, to ramp in other ways. I think it's good to have those extra copies of ramp in the deck. Got a Walrus Scout. Okay, how do these line up? That's what we need to know. I think we play... So he's going to get an extra boost from reserve. So we're going to play the Seringa to compete against the Daring Porter. We'll hold on to our boost because we're going to have 2 mana to play Djinn and Helping Hand. Okay. We'll see what they choose to do. Do they want to play the Walrus Scout? Okay, they do. That's good for us. So what we're going to do is we'll play the Helping Hand, targeting the Tiny Djinn. And we get to activate our hero now. Give a boost to the Seringa and stop them from advancing, so we take a double. Alright, that looks pretty good for us. We'll see what we get from here. We're going to be down on cards. I think we expected to be down on cards most of the time anyway. So we'll draw a card, see what we get. Another Seringa. That's going to be pretty good in a couple of turns. Oh, two forms of ramp. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, confirm. We'll play out the Tiny Djinn because the only form of boost we have access to is the Blade Dancer. So we want to try and gain a boost on the Blade Dancer, give one extra to the Tiny Djinn as well. If they have any way to exhaust cards in reserve again. Okay. That is a pretty good unique, I have to say. Alright. So they're going to have 6 power in brown on this side, less on the others. 1, 2, 3, plus the 2 already. I'm wondering if we could have played this turn different. If we'd delayed and played the Seringer, we may have been able to contest on both sides here, because I think at the moment we're going to trade 1 for 1 here. They're just going to have the opportunity to play both the Porter and the Stargazer. There you go. They'll be able to draw a card, send something to reserve here. Starting to lose the reins on this. Okay. I think we want to pass here. They're not going to be able to contest. It doesn't really matter if they do or not. And I am concerned about them exhausting the Seringer from our hand next turn. So we'll hold on to him, see if we advance into an area with green where we can play him, take a little bit more advantage. We are ahead, but their engine is well set up. Bye-bye, Mr. Djinn. We do move into exclusively green, which is nice. Thanks to our early ramp, we probably get the opportunity here to skip putting something in mana, keep an extra card. We'll play the Mighty Djinn first. That'll let us recoup the mana that we didn't play this turn, if we so choose. And we may choose to do so. It's the first time I think we've showcased the recently changed Axiom version of Haven. Significantly worse now. Three, 4, 3. They can get to 6. We can get to 5. So they can play this. They can play something from hand as well, which we haven't seen, obviously. Playing the Skadi means they'll advance here if we play our Eat Me energy bars, but we do stop them from moving over here. I don't think that's a good play, simply because them continuing to move forward does not help us move forward. So I'd rather give up a double advance from our opponent here to move us forward, even though the exchange is equivalent. We'll have the option to put the Djinn into our mana or not here. I think it's better for us to keep it around in order to play it, just in case. But because we'd be looking at going, pulling things off the top of the deck. Reasonable. It's free. Alright, so they'll be able to get rid of one of our cards next turn. Now, knowing that they have Skadi in reserve, they will be able to play it on the hero side. I think that influences our choice slightly, so we'll send him to reserve. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We shall pass. We'll play our Seringa. If they have removal, they have removal. We'll still draw a card. They'll have a lot of opportunities to see it, but they can match with their Haven. Alright, they're going to be very mana efficient here. They can actually play everything out, and what would that be? 7, 7, 9, 7 in one side. We'll gain our Keylon counters, never forget to do that. Really easy to do in paper, surprisingly. We'll play red. Do they choose to play the Skadi? They're going to assume we play something else out from our hand. So it would be likely, but they don't get the sabotage, which is nice. Yeah, they do have a genuine choice to make here. A lot of options for them, not many for us. Interesting choice there. So they avalanche away the red. So they want us to not have access to that next turn. We are drawing an extra card. However, they're out of mana. So I think we just play. That was an option. That was not what I was expecting. Okay. So they've evened everything up. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We do have to get rid of something here in order to play everything. With access to only one creature, which is quite scary for us. Let's just quickly read Avalanche. Send to reserve any number of target characters or less with total mountain 4 or less. So if we cast physical training on our tiny Jinn straight away, I'm going to pass here. And hope that we can get something of value. Something of value off of our resupply and our draw. Having an extra mana here would be good. Obviously wouldn't be in quite the same position, but if we had the extra mana, alright, I think we high roll, we resupply, we get a piggies. They can exhaust that. I'm assuming they shall choose to do so. Axiom Salvager. Okay, if we play the piggies, the only thing we can actually play after is the tiny gin. So I think what we're better off doing, using the Keylon cylinder on our tiny gin. Give it a boost. We see the Skadi, we can beat that. It depends on what else is in their hand. Yeah, that's cool, we're okay with that. If we had one more mana, we could just win here. But we do have an option of drawing a 2-drop, so we're going to give our little gin an extra 3 boosts. That's really good for next turn. We'll play the piggies first. They get cylinders. Do they pass? Indeed they do. We're happy with that. We won't play the Blade Dancer. Jin goes to mana. Alright, I think we'll get rid of the Keylon cylinder. The Haven's just better, keeping more mana around, better effect. Okay, so we've got access to 10 mana. So we do have the option of Sakurabru. For can pay Piggy's Blade Dancer. Eat me energy bars. Can they beat that? What have they got available at the moment? Okay, I think we play the energy bars. See what they choose to do. Go back and back. Alright, we've got two options here. We can either play the Piggies and the Blade Dancer. What is it? 6 mana. There'll be 5, 5, 7, 6. I'm concerned. What am I concerned about? I think we do the Sakurabru thing. See what they want to do with that. We'll try and bait some removal out of their hand. They will have an opportunity to sabotage our Piggy out of our hand next turn, but we'll have an extra mana, and that may make a difference because it'll make the Piggy much larger. Athena loses fleeting. Okay, didn't really force anything out of them there the way we wanted to. We do keep the energy bars around for next turn. Don't have to worry about small step, giant leap out of our Axiom opponents. Okay, so if there is a Tinkerbell in the top 3 cards of their deck, they can get rid of our pig. If there is a removal spell in the top 3 cards of their deck, they can deal with the pig. Is this showboating from our opponent? I feel like it was better to just add 2 counters onto the Keylon cylinder. We'll get rid of the physical training. How would you like to see the same turn played over again? Oh, ooh, I'm thinking about it, eh? Alright, we'd go up to 11. So we could play Piggy Sakurabru, either from hand or from reserve. If we get rid of the Bravos Blade Dancer, we have access to a pig. 7, 11. I feel really bad. I do want to play the piggy though, hey. What would that look like? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That does leave a lot of mana on the table. Going up to 10. Could play, use 9 of it. I think we just have to get rid of the pig. I'm so sad. Alright, we do have to play towards a situation that lets us win in the event of a tiebreaker. So the Blade Dancer will do a lot towards that. Alright, 2 Athenas. What do they have on the board at the moment? 7, 9, 9. There is a Sabotage. Understandable. I think we'll play Sakurabru. Gains 1, 2 boosts. We'll pass for the turn. We want to keep it for the Blade Dancer, seeing as it will be seasoned. What will we have? We'll have 10 in that side. So showing us what they've got at the moment. They can get up to 5, 6, 6. They'd have 1 mana left. Plus 1. 6, 7, 7. So I think we play Sakurabru on this side. Push them back on both. And if they don't have a removal spell, we should win. I could ask them, do you have a removal spell? I'm really glad we got rid of the physical training there, though. Keeping the two creatures in reserve meant we were going to get the boosts from our havens no matter what, even if they did get to play a sabotage, which they did. Okay, what is their best option here? They can't use that, so they can either get 2 for 2 or 4/5/5 for 3. Okay. Does the hooked do anything here? Stops us from double advancing. If they can remove the big Sakura brew for 3 mana, they do have options there. How much does Boom cost? I should know that. Because what they're showing us in reserve isn't it, Chief? Oh, actually it is. Keylon Cylinder can add a boost there. They won't go ahead. But they will stop us from winning. Nice play from our opponent. Proud of them. And that's both our Sakura brews used. We have drawn those at very good times this game. Both when we had the energy bars in hand and enough mana to play them. They're going to have to get rid of a lot of stuff. Probably, I would have kept the Haven Bouncer actually. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We'll pass the turn. We'll play our Sakurabru to insulate against sabotage. We'll pass the turn because we have an extra form of boost in here. They'll draw their card, see what they want to do. So they're showing us how to use 7 mana plus an extra. Oh, there you go. Okay, Boom does cost 3. Play a Sayringer on this side. They're going to have to use Boom at some point. We may have just gotten away with it here, depending on what the last card in their hand is. Alright. we'll play our Bravos Blade Dancer, again on the hero side. Gain a boost. I think we shall give it to... I think the right choice is still the Blade Dancer. There, they conceded. There you go. 3 from 3, baby! Just goes to show, the more pigs you play, the more likely you are to win the game. I don't think our opponent was playing any pigs, in fact. So we had all 9 of them. Alright, what does 9 of a kind get you in poker? Surely it beats a royal flush. Anyway, I'm absolutely stoked. This is better than flopping a royal flush in poker. Alrighty. Happy days, on to the deck tech. Alrighty, there we go. 3 games done with Season to Taste. Our Basira and Kaizaimon doing their best Kojo and Budu cosplay. 3-0 record over 3 games. Pretty happy with that. Had a lot of fun playing this deck. Oh my goodness. Definitely impressed with how it went, but I think we got bailed out by our opponents misplaying a little bit. So I can, off the top of my head, I can identify at least one way each opponent flubbed a little bit. Obviously we had a couple of flubs in the middle there as well. But for example, in game 2, our opponent lost turn 1 by playing into our Seringa. I guess they didn't expect us to have the tiny Jin, but it did stop them from advancing, so we got a free one, or held them back for free a little bit there. So we thanked our stars for that. In game 1, our opponent cast the intimidation on our our Eat Me energy bars. Rather than the Sakurabru itself, they could have double advanced. Obviously it would have just put them back to where they were at the start of the turn, but I suppose they would have had to face it next turn anyway. But it did end up giving us options. They weren't to know that we were going to draw the second copy of Sakurabru as well. So we got bailed out there, and that third game, oh my goodness, that was a slog, wasn't it? Absolutely bailed out by Sakurabru and energy bars. Our opponent had no way to deal with it for a few turns, and it bought us enough time to sculpt a hand to win. But we'll take that when it's given. I wanted to identify a couple of things as well. We did not play a single mana channeling in that series of games. It went to mana every time. I don't know off the back of those 3 games whether it's just because we drew it in bad spots or we always had a better option. It did feel like that. Either we drew it late game when we don't need the extra mana and just putting it in and keeping the other cards is better. Or we had access to a tiny Jin or a mighty Jin as well, which also ramp us but also play to board. So probably going to look at replacing those with something. I'm not exactly sure what just yet, but we'll think about it. And there was one little moment. I looked through these videos before recording this debrief, and I just wanted to explain something quickly. So in game 1, we played a Keylon Cylinder turn 1, and we had the option of playing our tiny Jin and putting it in reserve. And I explained that we ended up holding on to it because we had access to the physical training. So whether you play out the tiny Jin on turn 1 and get the boost for it from its reserve ability, let's highlight that one quickly. or we hold on to it and then use our full 4 mana with the physical training on turn 2. You end up ramping on the same turn anyway. However, the way we played it draws us a card as well, and ends up with the Tiny Djinn being stronger and more likely to win, which is what happened. Thought I'd just explain that one quickly because I don't think I did a very good job of it during the game. Big fan of these piggies. Obviously, we ran into very little removal for them, but they do dodge pretty common removal out of some of our opponents' decks. The ones I'm thinking about are Off You Go from Izmir lists, and Teamwork Training can hit them, but the opponent has to have 4 creatures on the field as well. Obviously didn't play against either of those lists, but you know, it's worth considering anyway. But yeah, really happy with that. Gonna keep coming back to this one, I think. Just when I need a bit of a pick-me-up when games get to be a bit of a grind. We've got a few other uniques that we can showcase as well, which we will probably do at some point. So let's filter for those. But I do like the meme of having the 3 pigs in there. Chiron's pretty good, gets you a lot of boosts. So it gets you 5 boosts worth of power, plus obviously its little 1 brownie there. So what is that, 5, 6, 5 on multiple creatures, so it's pretty resilient to removal. Depending on how many cards you have in reserve. So it's conditional, but quite strong. So we might see that one around. Once the marketplace is open, I plan on getting some rare Mighty Djinns to add to this deck too, because they have that second line of text here, where if you don't put them in the mana zone, you draw a card. But this one may make an appearance. Removing fleeting and boosting is obviously like a pretty important part of this deck's plan, in order to maintain, you know, the number of cards you can play. But we'll have a think about it. Sakurabru as well. This one, honestly, probably worse than the rare options. Having to discard a card from reserve to make your opponent's stuff move back and costing 8 are a big deal. But he does look cool, so we'll think about it. A lot of stuff going on here. Big fan of the deck. Let me know if there's anything you saw that I could have done better. Did flub in a couple of places as well. I think early in game 2, where we played our Seringa in the opposite expedition to, was it an Anansi? Where I forgot the extra boost from Basira and Kaizaimon actually being able to put us over the threshold, so we let them have a expedition for free there. Always better things to do, you know, or always ways to do things better. But yeah, hope you had as much fun watching it as I did playing it. Check back in next time and see where we're at. This one's going to hit the rotation, I think, which is always nice to see. So welcome our first Bravos list. See you next week. Have a good one. Bye.